The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
What up, people? So, back with the part two, not really a part two, but just contrast video, because we're talking about the difference between having a fitness professional or personal trainer who comes from an athletic background versus one that comes from a non-athletic background or just a personal fitness journey background. So, made the video about the athletes, go check that out. Now we're going to talk about our non-athlete or our fitness enthusiast. So now we're going to talk about having a trainer or following the lead of a fitness professional who does not come from a high performance athletic background. So 3 positives, 3 negatives, just like the former athlete video. First positive is going to be, from my experience at least, that the fitness enthusiast or person that does not come from an athletic background, they tend to be a lot more detailed oriented and better educated on paper. So whereas a lot of your athletes are coming from a place of intuitiveness from being in a sport and being active and lifting weights and being physically fit the majority of their lives, or at least a concentrated portion of their lives at a high level. From a practical perspective, a lot of your fitness enthusiasts and non-athletic background professionals are going to more than likely have done their research, have turned every stone on paper. They've gone to the workshops. They've taken, more than one certification, if not multiple, certifications, including a degree, for some of them. So they're going to come with a better base of knowledge from a scholastic perspective, which is a great thing. Sometimes athletes don't have that. I come from an athletic background, so I've seen it firsthand. And starting my fitness professional journey, I was that person. I had a degree, a kinesiology degree, but I still didn't really know a lot on paper as far as test taking and verbatim knowledge, official textbook things like that. So, and to this day, I still struggle with those things as far as I know what to do and I'm certified and I've taken the test, but I still don't really, I don't really connect with fitness in that way. And some of your fitness enthusiasts or non-athletes, they connect a lot better to fitness in that way, and they're able to speak better to some of those terms. So that can be a plus, especially if you're someone who wants things broken down in that way, in more of kind of like that scientific way. Your fitness enthusiast will definitely be someone that you look forward to talking to and working with. The natural negative or natural con to this is that because they have so much book knowledge, that they may lack some of that kinesthetic awareness and some of that practical knowledge or applied knowledge and experience that your athlete may have. So, your fitness enthusiast may know exactly what to do on paper, but when it comes to maybe a real life situation, they may or may not know how to cue and move through certain things because they've never experienced that firsthand, whether it be firsthand with the client or firsthand with themselves. So, you could run into instances where they're wanting you to do something without really fully understanding why you're struggling or why it may be hard for you or why it could be a challenge, or sometimes why it's not enough of a challenge too, which is kind of a rare case, but it does happen. So your athlete, that's a trainer, they could know, okay, I know what it feels like to bear crawl. I know what it feels like to run sprints. I know what it feels like to jump up and down and around. So I have somewhat of a feel for, or I can speak in terms of, relating this back to the client as far as like what they're feeling or what they're going to be going through when they do certain things. Whereas your non-athlete, they may be fresh out of classroom, fresh out of internship, fresh out of their degree program or workshop, and they know what to do, but they may not always understand how to get it done. I think that's probably the best way I could put that without making them seem like, incompetent, because that's not the case. That's not what I'm trying to convey at all. But they do tend to be super certified, like they tend to be very credible. Your people who don't come from an athletic background, it's incredible. I mean, like credible on paper. Like you can trust that these people have sat down somewhere and really dug deep into their studies when it comes to their professional journey as a fitness trainer or instructor, whatever. The second pro or second positive is going to be that people who are fitness enthusiasts and don't come from an athletic background, they tend to be a little bit more inspiring. So they're more relatable. And I say that because the majority of the world are not going to be performance athletes. Majority of people are going to be, people who work out or they exercise every now and then, or maybe they're working out for the right reasons with the wrong motivation, like maybe they've been to the doctor and they found out some bad news, and a good way to turn that negative into a positive is to exercise or is to take their health and fitness more serious. So, that being said, a lot of fitness enthusiasts come from a background of, I was going down the wrong path and I was overweight and boom, I turned it around. Or I struggled with some type of eating disorder and I was, bulimic or too skinny or just, something of that nature. And then boom, they had to turn it around. So they tend to have more of those inspiring and motivating success stories, and they can at times relate better to the general population because they come from that and they've moved through it from ground zero, a lot of times from a bad place, and they can really speak that language and they can really speak to that experience a lot better than your former high performance athlete who, they've been in organized sports and they've been working out on a daily basis for the past, 10 plus, 15 plus, some 20 plus years. So, you have those things too. Hold on. Oh man. All right. Cool. I'm back. All right. So, let's see, where was I at? So talking about them being fitness enthusiasts, being a lot more relatable to the gym pop, way more. Well, it could be, just depending on the person, everybody's not the same. But just from a broad perspective, they can be a little bit more inspiring and relatable because they're coming from the same place that most people are coming from. That being said, it can be tricky and not to the fitness enthusiast's fault at all. But if you're someone who's looking to this person for motivation and for results or guidance, I would suggest that you do your best to not fall too deep into their story and their personal journey, and to always make sure that you're not only with them because they're inspiring, but you want to make sure that you're with them because they can progress you and move you through proper steps to reach your specific goals too. Because even if you guys have the same bottom line goal, how you may need to get there could be different. So just making sure that your fitness professional who may come from a non-athletic background, who may have this great success story, making sure that they're right for you. We had an instance about a year ago where one of my group exercise instructors was asking me for advice, and she comes from kind of that, really super inspiring success story, and lost over 100 pounds and turned her life around. And now she's inspiring, other women to do the same thing and believe in themselves, and, really big in the women's empowerment world. And it's a great thing. But, with that being said, there's a lot of things that she can't speak to from a male's perspective, or with dealing with men in the fitness world. And it's kind of like, you would think that it all translates, or it all is the same, and some of those things are not, even if the general concepts are the same. And she was, in a lot of ways, I won't say a lot of ways, but in some ways struggling with a particular male client who was trying to achieve a similar goal, while still wanting to, be all muscular and swole or just whatever, and it was a hard conversation because he was so much in love with her and her story and who she was as a person. But for her as a fitness professional, she had to, really do some self-assessment and go, I don't know if I'm fully equipped to, progress this guy to what he wants to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that goes both ways. So as a fitness professional, they have to know that just because they can get a room to stand up and cheer may not mean that they're good for everybody in that room. And just because someone, from the client perspective, just because someone does inspire you may not mean that how they went about doing what they did is the right, path for you. So you can just kind of use that as motivation to get you up and going, but then still continue to dig into what actually works for you, and making sure that your trainer, your leader, your fitness leader is a good fit for you. The third positive, and this is kind of what I see on a daily basis in my profession as I manage and employ group exercise instructors who mainly come from a non-performance athlete background, is that they are really good fitness enthusiasts, are really good at keeping things fresh and fun. I mean, because they come from a space where, for years on end, they haven't been doing the same workouts day in and day out like your former athlete. Your former athlete may have only done bench, clean, and squat for the past 10 years, and that's gotten them results because, they've been judged on performance and not so much like, jumping around or moving around or even being healthy. And that's a whole nother conversation. But, your fitness enthusiast and your non-athlete background fitness professional, they're going to be really good on keeping things fresh and fun. They're going to implement games. They're going to have a really good, music playlist. They're going to, get you guys involved in groups and partner activities and all kind of stuff. Like, they're really good at kind of taking your mind off of the fitness part and making it more of a community, and making it more of a family, and making it more of something that kind of feels more like home rather than a chore, which, me being from a performance background, sometimes I'm guilty of that too. And it's something that I have to always work on to make sure that my people are staying engaged and that they're excited, you know, to show up and do what they have to do. But, you know, professionals on the other side of the spectrum, they tend to not struggle with this at all. You know, it tends to not even be a thought because they're just so naturally good at, you know, keeping things fresh and fun and exciting during every session or every class period. So there's not really just a serious, you know, con or anything that kind of goes with this, but you know, I think a lot of times too, and not necessarily a con, but something just to be mindful of, which we have to all be mindful of in any business, is that there is a huge money factor. So sometimes your big campaigners or your big enthusiasts in the fitness field who are super motivating, a lot of times with this too is that you'll see them really want to maximize their platform and maximize their influence to make as much money as possible, because for them it is, you know, I don't want to say all about the money. That sounds terrible, but in a lot of ways, the bottom line is money. You know, we all got bills to pay unless, you know, you come from an immense amount of wealth, and even that costs something, right? Just know that your fitness enthusiasts, not, you know, they could care about you. They, you know, very much so could be great people and more than likely are great people, but just know that it is a business for them. So, you know, as they're motivating you and getting you inspired and keeping you kind of going and keeping the fireworks alive, just know that they're going to be expecting you to, you know, swipe your card and pull out your checkbook for, you know, large amounts of money, which I think that the trainer with the athlete background has kind of the same perspective too, but a lot of times you'll kind of see this more of the forefront kind of motivator and things that the fitness enthusiast is kind of like making sure that it's highlighted, you know, the fact that this is what it's going to cost to do this, so this is what it's going to take financially to get this done for us. Whereas, you know, the athlete, you know, they may mess around and just be, you know, creating a bunch of free YouTube video workouts online, and they mess around and forget to even charge you. You'd be like, oh snap, I should have been getting money this whole time. What's up? But not everybody. Like I said, these two videos are not to put, you know, any and everybody of these two extreme backgrounds in the same category, but these are some things from my experience that I've seen. So just to be on the lookout for that. I hope this video helps a lot of people. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, hit up the comment section, send me a DM, follow me on Instagram, whatever you want to do.